guys, welcome back to another Battling Brushes with myself, Sam, and Rob Oren. We'll be getting to Rob later on. He is painting the human catchers. We are continuing our Battling Brushes segments for Blood Bowl from Games Workshop. These miniatures are really fun to paint. I love painting GW miniatures. The detail always pops real easy, and it makes even the most rudimentary job look really kind of pretty good. So I'll be taking care of the Orc Lineman, or at least the there's a couple of different molds for the Orc Lineman, but I'm just really focusing on one of them. So you kind of get the idea. You can have fun with them as much as you really want to, but the basics pretty much stay the same. So I'll be taking care of the Orc Lineman. Rob's going to be doing the human catchers, wimps. And so let's get down to the table. We'll see how it goes. So today we're going to be tackling the lineman for the Orc team. No pun intended. Well, kind of. Never mind. Anyway, we're going to be hitting him. He's going to have, of course, the same color palette that we used on the Black Orc blocker last time. And that's just a reminder of what he turned out looking like. So he's going to look very similar. He's on the same team after all. So let's go ahead and get to it. And so after I have hit the base coat for the skin, I went ahead and did a dry brush of the shirt here with the Urshan Gray, just like we did with the other guy, because everything else that we're going to be putting on, all the other colors are going to be on top of that color. So I just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way first. This is another sculpt of the lineman, so I just wanted to show you how the different guys would look as you are getting them done. So next what we're going to do is we're going to hit it with some Mephiston Red. And Mephiston Red is going to be the base coat for the armor that is on these guys. And it's going to be pretty much one of the dominant colors of the model. So let's go ahead and get that done too. And then after we get all of the red down on the model, we're going to go ahead and come back with a lead belcher and hit all of the metallic parts that are all over. Mainly these little spiky bits and the shoulder back here, I guess like their version of a brass knuckles right there, the little horn that is flaking off of his wrist right there. So just a couple of things here. Let's get to it. And after all the metal has been cut in, before we go any further, we really need to get that Ustabi bone onto the britches so that we can kind of cut in some of the other areas that we're going to be highlighting with a brown color for the leather buckles, basically, that are holding all that armor onto him. So let's go ahead and get his britches done. Now we're just going to come back and hit some of the leather straps that are all over the model, like the one right here. And as we're getting pretty close to the end, we're going to do a little bit of a dry brush of Evil Sunz Scarlet over the armor just to give it a little bit of a highlight, not too much. As you can tell, the difference between the two colors is not that great, and so we don't really want a whole lot of differentiation here, just a little bit. So let's get that done, and then we're going to come back and hit some of the spiky bits with some of the lead belcher just to you know, where they've worn off and that type of thing, and except for the base, he'll be pretty much done. And that is pretty much it for our Orc Lineman. As I referenced earlier, there are a couple of different poses that the linemen have, so pretty much just be very creative with how you detail each one, but that's basically how you do it. Let's see what Rob's doing.
Today I'm working on the catchers. Again, we're going to be getting these guys, putting the base colors on, and darken them up so we can build out. And we're going to use an example in our last week to build out and do the bases, and I'll show you how to do that. So there's only one thing to do. Let's go down to the table and see how we get there. Alright, so as you can see, I primed all these guys white just to give you an idea of how we got to this point originally, but now today we are working on the catcher. And as you see, I primed them white, and I just started putting in a Caldor Sky Blue, and that's what we're going to be working with to fill in the blue areas. Now with this guy, there's a lot more exposure of the white, so we want to make sure that we really have that highlighted very well. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put in some flesh, and there's a lot more flesh exposed, so there's going to be a little bit more work on the catchers than the rest of the guys. So let's get down and get to it. Okay, the next thing that we did is we painted the ball and we painted the gloves, and underneath the shoes we're leaving white right now because we're going to add in spikes, and we're going to add in the face mask. We're going to add all our metallics in, and this glove here, they have it kind of like an orangey color, but I was going to keep them all brown to stay consistent with the other guy that we have. But you kind of want to make the star player stand out a little bit, and you don't want the ball to mesh in with the glove there. So we just changed them up like they're superstars a little bit. So I'm going to put the metallic in, and then we're going to get all our base colors in and finish them off. Okay, so we put some metallic onto the shoes, into the facial area there, and then we just took a nice dark wash and we washed over this entire figure just to kind of fill in and give some darkness into the recesses. Now this is where we're going to stop this guy, and we're going to do one more guy next week. We're going to do the quarterbacks and the blitzers. And then the following week we're going to do the bases, and we're going to highlight. So we're going to highlight these guys all at once, and I'm going to show you how we're going to bring those colors back out. Like I like to work in and then work my way outwards. And you can see how I've tried to darken up this entire figure so I can start building outwards. So that's it for this week. Let's send it up to Sam so we can get on out of here. So basically, what you saw there was pretty much almost the same thing as last week, where we have the white undercoat, we go over with the Caldor Blue, and then we use the Beastal Brown. These are all Citadel colors that I'm using on these, and do all the leather areas. And then with a nice dark wash, I usually go, if there's flesh there, it's going to be Agrath Earthshade because I really want to get the detail of the muscle in. And then if to go over the white, I really like using a new oil. Now what that does is really darken everything up and really brings out the recesses. It really goes over and it seals everything that we have as a base coat. Then what we're going to do is, you're going to see in a couple of weeks after we do one more week of guys, because I kind of want to show you the different some of the different leathers that you have to do. If they're holding the ball, you're not going to make the ball Beastal Brown and their gloves Beastal Brown. You're going to use like I used the Tangor fur for their gloves, so it gives it a little bit of a different hue to them and you know, a different look, but it still looks like they have those gloves on. We using lead belcher over the mask, and then we're going to go over again with the warp bronze, so we keep everything consistent. The last week is when this is really going to all come together, because what we're going to do is we're going to highlight our way out. We're going to put our decals on, and we're going to rough them up a little bit, but we also want certain areas of this model to come out, so we want to highlight with lighter colors. So that's our plan with all these Blood Bowl teams. So next week, you know, we've got one more kind of a little bit of the same, but there's a few nuances that I want you to see, and that we're going to tweak and do a few things to get ready for our last week win. We're going to have a little bit of a longer video where we're going to pull things out. We're going to start pulling those details out. So, with that said, hey Sam, you rule the DT there. Why don't you take us and get us both out of here? Until next time, I'm Rob Oren. We'll see you soon.
So that's it for this week's Battling Brushes. We'll be back next week continuing with Blood Bowl and get them done as best as we possibly can. And I do want to thank you guys for joining us. We sincerely appreciate it. We also hope that this is helping you guys out, start your hobbies. That's really all we're doing this for. We want to show people that it's not that difficult to get some nice looking models down on the board to just kind of make your game pop that much more. So we hope that you have been encouraged, maybe been inspired a little bit. Who knows? Let us know in the comments. We'll see you guys on the flip side.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.